Yo, what's going on, guys? This video I'm going to show you how to make your background vocals, ad-libs, whatever. I'm going to show you how to make them a lot better. I'm going to show you a lot of tricks to make sure that they're not interfering with the main vocal, so that main vocal still shines through. I'll put timestamps in the description for the chapters, and also at the bottom on the little bar, whatever, it'll just like show you. So I have this song here. It's dropping on Saturday, so pretty safe in the description. Make sure to check it out when it drops. So what I'm going to do is play this without the beat and then with only the main vocal, and then I'll slowly bring in everything I have on in the background.
I can't die before I complete mine, before I fulfill my reason for being here.
So as you can tell, even with all the background vocals, the main vocal still is clear, it cuts through, it's not making it muddy at all, right? So we're gonna talk about how you can achieve this. So before we get into the tricks or whatever, what I do for my background vocals is just copy over my main vocal chain, right? So I have my main vocal in 4 and 5 here, and I have them routing into 6 and 7, which is where my vocal chain is. So what I do is I just copy them over, right? So here's an instance. What you can do if you're in FL Studio is just right click on the track, hover on file, go into save mixer track state as, click and hold, and then you can drag it and just drag it onto a blank mixer track, and then you have it. So you just do that for both of these, and then you just route your vocal into it. So the first thing we're gonna cover is how to get a super level signal. This is especially good for like harmonies. That way the vocal signal isn't ducking in and out and kind of like messing with your ears, because really with these harmonies you just want to like make it wider, more interesting, sound better. And I found that a super level vocal signal really helps a lot with this. So what I do, I throw on an RVox and just drop this down to like 20 plus, press the shit out of it, and that just makes it super level. Also, it's really important for me on like these little, I don't know what you want to call this, but just like humming or whatever this is in the background, because sometimes you'll get louder and softer, but you're gonna want the signal to be the same for all of that. So I did, again, RVox. Apparently I didn't squash this one as much because it didn't need it, who knows. But you just got to use your ears. It's going to be different depending on the situation and circumstance. You're going to have to use your ears. Then the next trick that I'd like to use is an EQ to take out the high end. And the reason we want to take out the high end is so the main vocal is still shining through and it's not clashing with the background vocal. The background vocals are going to you want them to complement the main vocal. The main vocal still needs to be the main vocal. These background vocals are making it wider, more interesting. So what you do is take an EQ and you just take out some of the high end, right? You take out some of the high end because that high end it's going to be competing with the main vocal, and you don't want that. So I'll show you an example on this one. On this one I took out a lot more high end because I was singing higher, without and then with. So I might have went a little OD with that, but that's apparently what I thought sounded good, so that's what I went with. Yeah, you're not always going to want to do that much. For example, here's this one. Same idea though, same exact thing. And then another thing that I do on literally every background vocal I mix is I put on a DeEsser, and it's a pretty aggressive DeEsser. I put the threshold down quite a bit to at least -40, in this case -44, and then the range quite a bit. 9 is honestly not that much for what I would normally do. I don't know if that's right or wrong. You're just gonna have to play, see what sounds good for you. But idea here is the same idea as that high end. You don't want these S's to pop through. Like I said, you want the main vocal to be the main vocal. We want it to just be a smooth, consistent background vocal. So those 3 things are just staples for my background vocals. I do all those things just about every time, and it just really cleans it up and makes it better. I do this a ton. If you're doing harmonies, I'll show you with this right here. So this is like a high harmony. With high harmonies, you're gonna want to make them wider. With really low harmonies though, those are gonna want to be more mono. But for these super high harmonies, or even just like normal singing, just throw a doubler on there, right? Doubler for waves. If you don't know how this works, it's the most you can go is 45 each side, and also the middle. I take the middle out so it's not clashing with that main vocal, and at 45 to each side for this instance. You're not gonna want to do, if you're doing this for multiple vocal takes, you're not gonna want to do it to 45 on each side for all of them, because then those vocals are going to be clashing. You're going to want to space them out a little bit. So like 45, 35, 25, or whatever. Use your ears, right? And then also there's this EQ right here. This is boosting the highs. You can take that out just by double clicking it. Apparently I left it. I guess I took out enough highs right here. And that's how doubler works. So without the doubler and then with. Right, it's going to make a lot more room for that main vocal. So all of these together.
I fulfill my reason for being here.
right? Not high harmony, as you can tell. It does a lot, but it doesn't stand out. They all just complement each other and work together, right? If I play this with the beat, none of them are gonna stand out. And another big thing with these background vocals is leveling. That's a whole thing to tackle in itself, but if you just use your ears, you'll be able to do it really well. It's a little bit deceiving though, from what I have found in my personal experience. If you do it without the beat on and then you turn the beat on, more often than not, I find that I have them too quiet, even though they sound pretty loud without the beat. So like, I like to level them with the beat on and then just make it so you can kind of just like, it's barely doing anything. Like, it doesn't stand out, it's just complementing really well.
I can die before I complete.
Right, nothing's really standing out, but if I take all of them out, it's just like a main vocal. Like, you can tell the difference.
I can die before I complete mine, before I fulfill mine.
Makes it wider and it just makes it better, objectively. My opinion, objectively in my opinion, ain't that funny. And another thing I like to do with my background vocals is change the reverb from the reverb of the main vocal. So I use Valhalla Reverb, so I'll just like change the preset and the color, whatever it is. But one thing I always seem to do, if you don't know how reverb works, I can make a video on this if you want, leave a comment down below, is there's a way mathematically to get the right reverb times for your song based off the BPM. So this song, it's the pre-delay is around 23 and the decay is about 1.5, right? So on the main vocal, I'll do a shorter decay, right? 1.5. But on the background vocals, I'll do the longer decay, and in this case it's 3, right? And I believe this is a different sound as well. The color is the same, but it's a different reverb. So I seem to always do a different reverb for the background vocals as well, just to create a different space, and it just makes the song again more interesting. Just makes the mix better, in my opinion. Another thing that you can do with reverb is throw an imager on there and just kind of crank up the imaging just to make it a lot wider if that's what you're going for. Play around with that. And then stuff you can do with delays. I don't have a great example in this song, but I'll show you what I do have. Right, with delays, it's probably gonna be more on like ad-libs. I don't really got ad-libs like that in the song. I do have this little bit here. There's just like a little whisper in the background. I threw a delay on there. With my delays, I always put the same reverb on it, just drop the mix to like 30%. This is just like a really wide delay that's going to be quick and pretty high feedback. Right, you can kind of hear a little wobble type of thing, but you can play with reverb, or you can play with delays, make it wide, quick, whatever. I think that's really all. You just gotta like take everything I told you and apply it in your own way, right? If I'm doing harmonies, panning them left and right is like the whole idea, right? But if you only have like one vocal and you wanted to pan one wider and then one not so wide, right, which is not what I did here, I would probably take this higher one, since the higher the higher frequency sounds typically are gonna want to be wider in the stereo field. I'll put a doubler on this, make that 45, and then make the lower one, the lower frequency harmony, maybe like 35, 30, 25, somewhere in there. If I had a really low harmony opposite of this, if I had one an octave down, I would make that mono, or damn near mono. I wouldn't pan it really at all. Maybe 5, 10. This is more of an ad lib. I have a pan man on it. You can do stuff with panning like that, like have this one smooth, but you can have it like jump around, play with the width, smoothing, whatever. And also with the EQ on these background vocals, you can kind of like shape the vocal how you want as well, however you want it to sit into the mix, right? It doesn't need to just be taken out high, and you can take out mids, you can take out lows, whatever it is. Just, you don't want it to clash with that main vocal. You can throw on a flanger and just kind of play with the mix, whatever. Yeah, you're just gonna have to take all that information I just gave you and apply it and be creative. There's no way around trying to learn how to mix. There's no way around just trial and error. You're gonna have to play around. It's not always fun. It'll be really frustrating, but if you just keep doing it, you will get better. I'm a testament to that. Keep playing around, play with these techniques and concepts I just gave you. Hopefully this helped. If this helped, great. If not, sorry. Leave a comment down below if you have any questions. I will answer any and all questions that there are, because I may not have explained something great, and if so, I'm sorry. Also, if there's any video ideas that anyone has, leave a comment. But yes, hopefully you enjoyed Go Stream My Music.